She is the face of Myanmar's struggle for democracy. But Aung San Suu Kyi has paid a huge personal price for her convictions. For the past 2 decades, the military regime that she has tried peacefully to bring down has done what it can to deprive her of her freedom. But after spending 15 years under house arrest, Suu Kyi walks free from her decaying lakeside house that has held her captive for so long, with no links to the outside world, no contact with her children. Thousands of her supporters waited anxiously as her guards effectively announced the end of her detention, pulling back the barbed wire barriers that sealed off her potholed streets. For the people of Burma, who have endured nearly half a century of one of the world's most brutal dictatorships, this moment was perhaps the most powerful sign that the seemingly impossible battle to push Burma toward democracy is not over.
There are many challenges and difficulties lie ahead, but I believe that under the leadership of Aung San Suu Kyi and her charisma and her political caliber, that the people will be united together and work to bring about change in our country.
But while her supporters and the international communities welcomed her release, it came only days after an election that was conducted in a climate of fear, intimidation and resignation. Only hours after the polls closed, violence broke out on the border between the military and the DKBA. Many observers have questioned whether if Aung San Suu Kyi's release was timed by the junta to distract the world's attention from the election and border conflicts.
It could as well be one of the big public stunts that military regime has ever pulled off, because they have to cover up what they have done with the elections, what they have done with the ethnic minorities, ongoing attacks.
This is not the first time Suu Kyi has been released. She has been arrested and released on 3 occasions since her first incarceration in 1989. During the most recent release in 2003, her convoy was attacked in what many say was a government-directed assassination attempt. With her release only just a few days ago, the security concerns for Suu Kyi are rife.
This is the reason why supporters and members of the NLD fear very much that there would be another attempt for Aung San Suu Kyi's life. And also there are plenty of examples in this region. The most recent one would be the case of Benazir Bhutto, who was allowed to return to the country simply to be assassinated. That's why everyone in Burma are now very, very worried.
Although Suu Kyi's freedom has long been in demand for international communities, it is unlikely to lead to any easing of sanctions in the near future, especially while an estimated 2,200 other political prisoners remain in detention. They are being held in grim conditions with inadequate food and sanitation. Many are tortured during their initial interrogation and still risk torture as a punishment at the hands of prison officers.
The issue of political prisoners in Burma is one of the most serious human rights violations that not only Human Rights Watch but even the UN agencies are monitoring with great concern. There's still evidence of serious tortures and all forms of mistreatment of the detainees, and the number of political prisoners seems to be increasing. The junta never stopped arresting people who think in a different way from what they prefer to see.
Ultimately, it is too early to predict how Aung San Suu Kyi's release will determine Myanmar's political future. For now, it is clear that her freedom has considerably changed the dynamics on ground. For the first time in years, the streets of Rangoon are optimistic and alive with celebration over the return of their democratic icon. For the people of Myanmar, there is still a long way to go, but at least for now, the hope of what might be possible has not yet crested. For Thai ASEAN News Network, Lusita Chumsi reporting.